Hi, I'm Sarah from Jimmy Beans Wool, and today we're going to go over everything you need to know to do block 22 of the Cascade Yarns Knitterati Diagonal Afghan. Alright, so block 22 is this beautiful, beautiful block by Kathy Karen. It is a mesh block, and it's actually worked from the center out. So just like the block you did earlier in this blanket, you start with a magic ring right in the middle, and then you work all the way around and you'll bind off all along the outside. So this pattern, we've got kind of a mesh panel in the center here. You can see when I lift it up, it's a little bit see-through. We've got nice and airy stitch pattern here. And then we've got a fallow ribbing along the edges, which is very simple to do. Looks really great, just adds a little bit of texture to the end here. So this is a fun and kind of squishy block that we can do. And yeah, there's not a whole heck of a lot that you need to know for this block. We're gonna go over how to do this cast on, which you have done before, and then how to do these increases to create this really nice looking, totally equal block. So let's go ahead and jump into that. So for this cast on, you're gonna need your double pointed needles, and you'll also need a crochet hook. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the end of my yarn and pull a little bit out. And with my two fingers, let's move these out of the way. With my two fingers, I'm going to hold the end of the yarn and wrap it around so that it makes an X on the back of my fingers. So I've just grabbed the yarn, wrapped over the top, and then flipped my hand and continued to wrap the yarn. So I'm just gonna secure this end with my finger and grab my crochet hook. Then my crochet hook will go under the bottom loop and grab a strand of the working yarn. I'm gonna pull it up and twist. And then I'm going to grab the working yarn again and pull that through the loop that was on the hook. So it can be a little hard to see because this crochet hook is the same color as the yarn, but I've got one loop on my crochet hook, and then I'm still holding the loop I made around my fingers. So I'm going to repeat those two steps. This is the first stitch that I've cast on. So I'm going to go through the loop, I'm going to pull up the working yarn, and then I'm going to go over to pull the working yarn through again. So now I've got two loops on my hook. Okay, and you're going to repeat that till you have 12 stitches total sitting on your crochet hook. So through the loop and draw through, and then draw the working yarn through again. So for this block, you are going to cast on a total of 12 stitches. Okay, so now I've got all 12 stitches on my crochet hook. I've just pulled my fingers out of this loop. This is the original loop I created and the tail of yarn. And what's so magic about this is you can pull on the tail to tighten up this loop, but we don't want to do that yet. Your next step is going to be to slide those stitches over to the end of your crochet hook and bring your double pointed needles back in. And now you're going to distribute the stitches evenly onto your 4 double points. So because you have 12 stitches here, each needle, you're going to slip 3 stitches purlwise onto that needle. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna move my crochet hook. We're all done with that. Careful not to drop your needles or drop your stitches. So we've got all of these in kind of a mess right here. And once you've organized them into a square, you're gonna pull that tail all the way tight. So what that's done, it can be a little finicky, but what that has done is created a perfect seamless center start. So now you'll go ahead and grab your 5th double point and start knitting like normally. It will be a little bit finicky to begin with, so you do want to make sure you've got a good hold on your needles. But this is your invisible circular cast on. Alright, so the only other thing you need to know that's not covered in our basic techniques video for block 22 is going to be the KBK, which is an increase that you do by knitting into the stitch below the one you're ready to knit. So let me just work into my swatch a little bit and go ahead and bring this up to show you exactly how you'll do this. So normally this next loop is where you will be knitting. To do the KBK, you're going to knit into the stitch directly below that next loop on your needle. So you just insert your needle right into the center of that stitch, knit, and then make sure that you don't let that top loop drop off of your working needle. Then you're going to insert as if to knit into that stitch and knit it off. So it's pretty straightforward. You have created an increase by essentially just dropping down one row and adding an extra stitch in there. So let me show you one more time. You're going to identify the stitch below the next loop on your needle, insert your needle as if to knit, and knit through it. Then you'll knit into that loop that you skipped, knit through that, and slide it off the needle. So you can see here's the stitch we increased. Oh, let's get that on camera. Here's the stitch we increased, and here is the stitch that was already there. Alright, so that was everything you need to know to do block 22 of the Knitterati Diagonal Afghan. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing because we have a lot more yarn reviews, tutorials, and other fiber fun like that. Happy crafting!